Hello gunners, welcome to another video, and today's video we're going to be going over various different things. We've got James Maddison sending a troll out to Arsenal and Arsenal fans with a chance at a parade for Spurs. We've also got more transfer news, more news on who we could sign on the wing, and also the celebrations for the Arsenal women who did a fantastic thing and won the Champions League. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and like as well, it would be greatly appreciated. So let us start with Mr. James Maddison and essentially what has happened, because it stirred up a lot of Arsenal fans. Spurs fans were giving us stick. So just have a listen to what he did at the parade.
Are you watching Arsenal? Are you watching Arsenal?
So it's just something simple, really. He says, "Are you watching Arsenal?" And I mean, I don't see much problems with it. You know, a lot of Arsenal fans were upset. You know, Spurs are going to celebrate this and rub it in our faces as much as they can. But I will say one thing. The Europa League, what do you get for winning the Europa League? You get into the Champions League. That's the main thing about winning the Europa League. The trophy, yeah, it's great, European trophy. It's a second-grade trophy, though. And if you win it, you go into the Champions League. So those teams already in the Champions League are well above that competition. So essentially here, you know, are you watching Arsenal? Are you watching the Championship? You've got the Premier League, you've got the Championship. Europa League is like the Championship. And there's nothing wrong with winning the Championship, but your only prize for winning it is going up into the Premier League. Everyone wants to play in the Premier League. Everyone wants to play in the Champions League. Tottenham wanted to play in the Champions League. We already play in the Champions League. It's as simple as that, really. And Maddison, he doesn't even look that convincing in that. You know, within him, it's almost like I'm just going to sing along for the sake of it. Because he knows, you know, are you watching Arsenal? I mean, I wouldn't trade spaces with Spurs. Personally, a lot of you guys I've seen in the comments would. You said a trophy is a trophy, and fair enough, a trophy is a trophy, a fantastic achievement for Spurs. I'm not ridiculing that. I'm just saying it's a second-grade trophy, and are you watching Arsenal is just suggesting, you know, are you watching us win the Championship here when you're in the Premier League? It's not something you can really troll somebody about. But let's get into more positive stuff, and that is the transfer news. And quite interestingly, Arsenal recently held discussion with the representatives of Rafael Leao to register their interest in signing the winger. Apparently Berta phone called, you know, had a 10-minute, 15-minute conversation with Leao's representatives. Leao also removed AC Milan from his Instagram bio. I know that sounds silly, but, you know, small things like that just point to an exit. And Rafael Leao is a fantastic player. I'll probably make a more in-depth video on him if this interest is sort of built up. But he has the ability to unlock games. He's a touchline winger. He's at that age now. I think he's, 26, 27, maybe around that, where now he needs to go to a team to properly enter his prime and reach those high levels. I feel like Arsenal can be a team to really platform him to perform. He's obviously guided AC Milan to titles. This is a top player, by the way. We can't just say you wouldn't take Rafael Leao. You know, he this lazy thing, he's not lazy. He can do the out-of-possession stuff. And he suits Arteta's system in terms of being a touchline winger. And I feel like Arteta wants that profile. Leao can be it. But it also goes to show that Arsenal are just contacting various different players, various different options. They haven't really, you know, sort of nailed down a main target to the mainstream media. Obviously, in-house, they have their main sort of targets. But in terms of the media, there's all sorts of names coming out, you know, and this is another one. Arsenal are ready to make a move for Nottingham Forest playmaker Morgan Gibbs-White. Sports Pete. He's relatively reliable as well, so this coming out. We obviously know about Manchester City being interested in him, but is this the sort of profile we need? An 8/10. He can play a bit off of the wing, he can play on the flanks, but is he necessarily what we actually need in that position? We've got Martin Ødegaard. He's not been at the best levels that we know he can play at, but Martin Ødegaard is a main starter. He's going to play. Does Morgan Gibbs-White sort of want to move from Forest, who are going to be in European football, and go to Arsenal where he might not play as many minutes? These are the sort of things he has to think about, and we have to think about when bringing him in, because it's going to be, 60 million? We know the English homegrown tax when it comes to buying players. And is he a difference maker? He's a really good player, quality player, but is he the one that takes you to a title? I think like questions like that need to be answered, and can he answer them? I'm not too sure on that. We've also got Arsenal currently very active in a winger market. Rodrigo remains highly rated, and Ademola Lookman is still a topic. So again, this idea of Arsenal going for every single winger under the sun, plenty goals saying this. You got Lookman, you've got Rodrigo, you've got Leao, you've got Morgan Gibbs-White, which we just talked about. El Canoes has been talked about as well. Many players, many players. So it's a thing of, I think, Arsenal scoping out the market. Obviously, they like more players more than other players, and it's going to be interesting. Whatever way you look at it, it's going to be really interesting to see who Arsenal land on when it comes to sort of actually sort of signing a winger. There's so many names out there that you really just want to know, okay, who's the main guy that we're going for? Who's the one we're actually going to land on? That's going to be really, really interesting. But anyway, let's get on to the Arsenal women. And I mean, it was a fantastic feat today. I was watching the game. The performance was unreal, a proper defensive masterclass. There's just so many positivities about it, but it seems as though running through Arsenal, we have doubters from the outside. How can the president of Barcelona come out and say we are the better team than Arsenal and we've already beaten them? Leon worry us more. We look forward to our third consecutive Champions League. I mean, just look at that. The arrogance, sort of the disregard of Arsenal. That's how people move to us in the women's side and the male side. And, karma football comes in circles. You can't be too arrogant, can't be too confident. We've shown Barcelona we can compete, we can beat them. And we got the major trophy. So Laporta coming out like this with all that arrogance, he must feel absolutely embarrassed. But there's two people I want to talk about in terms of their performance in that game. Mariana Kaldante was absolutely incredible. In the middle of the pitch, she is an absolute machine. In the last minutes, we saw that running from her. I've watched quite a lot of her, and she's probably, for me, her and Russo for the Ballon d'Or. I feel like that's a real possibility, depending on how the Euros go. But two absolute machines and players that play with a lot of passion. She ran the game in the middle of the park. What a player. And of course, Van Dalbemar, I always butcher her name, but she was absolutely incredible in the back in the net. Kept so many goals out. And just in terms of, this is not really me dissing, Zinsberger, but she's a level above. She really, really is. With Zinsberger in goal, I don't think that game ends in the way it does. And that just goes to show the quality that she has as a keeper. She's so good. And ultimately, the play of the match she got in terms of the ratings was deserved. I know the actual man of the match was Blackstenius for the Stina for the goal. And fair enough, she scored the winner. But those two really impressed me the most in the game. And I mean, Reni Stina, we've got to give her the credit. It's an absolutely incredible turnaround. Sacked the former manager in October. She comes in, she beats Madrid, Lyon, Barcelona. I mean, that is incredible. This Barcelona team would have done the quadruple if they won today. Reni Stina, unreal manager, top manager, so much quality. And I'm excited what she can do. I feel like she can bring the WSL home and finally take it off Chelsea. We've won it about 6 times in a row, but we're one club, we're one family, we're one Arsenal, so we can say that we are champions of Europe. We can claim this as a massive glory. Ian Wright even came out to say that it saved the embarrassment of the men not winning any trophies. That is true. Look, this is a massive day for the club, and congratulations to the women's team. But anyway, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, peace.